Ooh, case closed. Oh, they
That's
do
why.
veer off, don't they?
Yeah, they're
Oh yeah,
not
they will go
exactly
wherever
firing
they
straight.
want to.
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Iron Man's accused
Batman
of
toy
giving
weapons.
Batman toy weapons. All right, we've reached the
Okay, the
trial
darkness.
of Tony Stark
What about
being
that hill?
accused of giving Batman toy weapons. Prosecutor instead of actual weapons. I'm assuming.
Yes.
Very well. Prosecution, you may begin your opening statements.
Dear ladies, gentlemen, and anybody else of the court, today I am going to present to you a very compelling case of Tony Stark falsely selling weapons to Batman. But these weapons were not actually
Hey,
weapons,
let the
they were
prosecutor-
toys.
But they were just toys around.
They were just toys, they
So
weren't
you
actually
make the
weapons.
claim that instead of actual weapons being delivered to Batman in the form of a battle, he was given toys by Iron Man instead.
Yes, Your Honor.
Objection, Your Honor.
Very well. Defense, opening statements. Do not present any evidence of any sort. Please begin with your opening statement.
My opening statement is that my client, who hit me? How dare you? My client, Tony Stark, knows the capabilities of Batman and the dangers that such powerful weaponry could do in his hands. My defense is that Iron Man, aka Tony Stark, did not give him toy weapons, but rather he gave him the requested weapons that Batman, requested of him. The defense.
Well,
Very well. So the two stands we have, the prosecution is trying to claim that
What the fuck?
Iron Man, while Batman was in the middle of an attack, had delivered toy weapons instead of real weapons, thus endangering the Batman's life. Meanwhile, the defense claims that Tony Stark knows the capabilities of Batman, and as such knows that Batman does not need real weapons, but had instead delivered exactly what was necessary for Batman to succeed. Am I correct on this statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Then let the trial begin. We will start with the prosecutor. Would you like to call up your first witness?
not
Or
yet,
would
Your
you like to
Honor.
present your first evidence.
I would like to talk about how the defense has said that they delivered exactly what Batman had needed. This does not negate the the accusation of them giving toy weapons to Batman instead of actual weapons. Just because they might think that Batman may need toy weapons does not make it true. Thus, they just admitted to endangering his life.
Well, I believe the greatest form of evidence in this case will be if the defense can produce a manifesto to see what Batman had requested. Because whether Batman had requested toy weapons or real weapons, that is what really matters. Because if Batman had requested toy weapons, then Tony Stark provided toy weapons. Then
Your Honor, I have evidence proving that the weapons that Batman received are exactly what he needed.
I also have evidence that they were not what he needed. Your Honor, could you give me time to speak so that way I could give my evidence real quick?
very well.
Wait, let's turn him into a chicken.
Don't do it. Don't do
Then
it. Don't do
prosecutor,
it.
you may present your evidence.
According to these DMs between Iron Man and Batman, Batman is clearly asking for weapons that only Iron Man could create. I mean, given the state of like what Batman is capable of, he can create his own entire weapons, but for this one battle, he needed something specifically from Iron Man. And instead of Iron Man giving him what he asked for, which is if you look at these DMs, clearly state that he needs weaponry, was given toy weapons. What is he supposed to do with a toy sword from Walmart?
So what you are claiming is that
Objection, Your Honor. I have evidence that can show exactly what he can do with a toy sword from Walmart.
and you may present your evidence.
This cut cable was cut with your toy sword from Bell. With your toy sword from Walmart. You claim that Batman requested weapons that only Iron Man could create, and you are correct. Iron Man created this toy-looking sword.
We have breaking news coming in. Joker found working at Stark Industries Gotham brand. So could it be that a certain someone has infiltrated
No,
Tony
Your Honor.
Stark's great work to sabotage the Batman's work?
Your Honor, may I speak?
Prosecutor, you may speak. Go.
I believe that this new evidence given from the media themselves just goes ahead and proves like how they sabotaged Batman. Iron Man knew what was going on. You're going to tell me that Iron Man, Mr. Tony Stark himself, who has so much money, is not going to do background checks on his employees? The Joker was found working at Mr. Stark's enterprises. That seems like either negligence or this was a purposeful attack on Batman to get Batman out of the picture.
That is some.
Objection, Your Honor.
I was going to say, defendant, that is some damning evidence. Do you have anything to back it up?
I do, as a matter of fact. I have the proof of hyperinflation, with prices rising and salaries being stuck as they have
I
been
certainly know
for
how
years.
bad that is.
The Joker clearly has needed other sources of income, hence why my client, Mr. Stark, has allowed him to hire on under his tutelage, as it were. Excuse me.
Bless you.
With the intent of helping the Joker rectify his criminal ways and see him onto the path of justice and good.
So, if
So
I can understand this correctly, the prosecutor claims that the Joker was hired on as an intentional attack against the Batman to possibly kill him in an attack, while Tony Stark had intentionally hired the Joker to possibly rehabilitate him.
correct, Your Honor. The hiring of the Joker was intentional, but not for what the prosecutor claims. In fact, it is widely believed that the Batman knows of the Joker's employment under Mr. Tony Stark, and is fully supportive of his trial employment under Tony's watchful eye.
Katsu. Breaking news from the journalist. Stark launches new line of arc reactor batarang toys with the
Wait, what was that
Joker
about the Joker?
laughing.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
I believe it's time with these two things of breaking news, we start with witnesses. Prosecutor, would you like to call your witness first, or shall we call the defendant?
I would like to call my witness.
Then we shall call the witness to the stand.
Hello.
Hello. For the court, could you state your name and your occupation?
I am the leading expert in Batman and or Iron Man, and my name is Expert. Please refer to me as Expert. Thank you.
Possible.
Can I call you Mr. Expert or
I'm
Is there-
sorry, you said your name was Expert? Expert?
Yes, sir.
Yes, but you
First
can
name
call me
X, last
James.
name Pert.
I'll call you James. Understood. Prosecutor, continue.
so in this instance, you are very familiar with both sides. Can you go ahead and look at this evidence for me of this open package which contained the toy weaponry that Batman was given? Can you tell me, do you, with your expert knowledge, do you think Batman would be able to take on his enemies with these toy weapons?
Yes. I was actually there when Batman opened the box. But the thing is, I have never seen Iron Man and Batman in the same room together. So for all I know, this could be an insurance scam, but in my expert opinion, who knows?
So you're saying that Batman could fight his enemies with these weapons with this toy sword from Walmart?
Your Honor,
He-
let me.
Yes, because he might be Iron Man.
You may speak.
Witness, are you suggesting that both Tony Stark and Batman are the same person, and thus leading a double life of a billionaire philanthropist and also a crime fighter?
And
I mean,
another
one of
billionaire
those.
philanthropist.
Yeah, they seem very similar to me. Sounds very suspicious if you ask.
Your Honor,
You are
can
suggesting that the owner of Stark Industries and also the owner of Wayne Enterprises are the same person.
The rich get richer.
The
What can
plot
I say?
thickens.
The plot thickens.
your Honor, can I speak for a moment?
You may.
I make a move to dismiss this witness and ignore everything they said. I just found this empty wine bottle.
No.
The-
James, have you been drinking before coming to the stand?
It was
The
just
witness
grape
is drunk.
juice.
It says here on the bottle, Scarlet Rose. You are lying. You are going to jail.
There he goes.
Bailiff, have him arrested. Thank you.
No.
Your Honor, I have
Anyway,
reason to believe
defendant,
that
would
the
you like to call your
prosecution is a
witness to the
skinwalker.
stand?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call the amateur detective to the stand.
Very well.
It is I, not James.
Hello, amateur detective, not James. How may we?
How may we help you?
You have come to the court as the witness to attorney Floofy Booper in defense of Tony Stark.
Yes, and what can I get you?
What can I get?
Well, I mean, you can start by helping your defendant.
No.
I would love to answer some.
Detective, not James. From my understanding, before this court convened, you were investigating on whether or not Iron Man and Batman were in fact the same person. Is that correct?
Ah, yes. I think my colleague, James, was the one who arose my suspicions on this fact.
I see. Very interesting.
How connected are you with James, if I may ask? Not James.
I may be him.
Incredible.
Bailiff, are we being serious here?
No, but I mean, like, who really knows who we are, right?
Currently, you are a duck.
All right, bring them back.
All right, I am in fact not
Thank
you.
James. Thank you.
All right.
Now, Detective, during your extensive research into Iron Man and/or Batman, you found.
So dumb.
Here you go. You found this broken glass, correct?
Yes, I did find the broken glasses.
And where did you find the broken glass exactly? Was it perhaps Stark Industries?
Yes, it was on
What?
top of a cut table in an unopened package next to an empty wine bottle.
Your Honor, I propose that my defendant in fact, it did not send Batman toy weapons, but in fact, Stark Industries was infiltrated and sabotaged.
Objection.
By the Joker, right?
No, he works there.
This is incorrect, Your Honor.
Then go on.
As you can see from this access badge for Tony Stark Industries, you can see clearly that it's written Joker with the picture of the Joker.
Objection, Your Honor.
This is only attainable by somebody that is working there. So it is very much clearly that it was not infiltrated, but the Joker actually works there.
We already
Overruled.
know that
I
the
want to
Joker
hear.
works at Stark Industries. This has no bearing
Continue.
on the current evidence.
We know that he works there. This means it was not infiltrated. This was not some thing that Tony Stark was unaware of.
Suit walks up.
Your Honor, with this
So-
breaking news, it is clear that Tony Stark is working very closely with Batman to give him the latest in technology.
What suit walks up? That means the Joker is surely sabotaging. He is leaving his trademark. Do you have anything to say
Yes,
for the Joker, who seems to be sabotaging Batman through this delivery of poor weapons, stealing his signature weapons, and
Your
as
Honor,
we
I
can
need you to
see-
follow me. I need you to follow me closely on this. We know that
I'm
the
following
Joker
you
works
like
at
a
Stark
hawk right now.
Industries. We know that the Joker works at Stark Industries. We have seen his access badge. So, if he has access to Stark Industries, why would he need to break in? Why was there broken glass in Stark Industries? What I propose to you is that, excuse me, the
Push.
prosecutor's witness broke into Stark Industries. As you recall, there was a wine bottle found at the scene as well.
James?
No, this is
No,
Yes.
this is not
Oh,
James.
I mean,
you're
I'm
you're
not
talking
James.
about
Nope,
James,
I'm not
the person
James.
I
Nope.
put in jail for contempt.
no, that was expert.
But wait, hold on.
Don't look at me.
I'm confused here.
Expert the expert and not James the amateur detective.
But it's kind of questionable whether or not they're the same person.
We'll figure that out later. But Your Honor, I propose to you that
I need
expert-
answers.
I will give you the answers you need, Your Honor. I propose that Expert the Expert broke into Stark Industries, sabotaged the delivery for Batman, and inserted toy weapons. All with the intent of framing the Joker. And in turn, framing Mr. Tony Stark, who hired the Joker to work for him. It was all a ploy brought to us by Expert the Expert.
Do you have?
Sir,
I will ask. This will be the final evidence presented by both. This is a very strong argument.
I have this evidence of a scary mask in the visage of the Joker that Expert used to hide his identity and frame the Joker.
Well,
And prosecutor, do you have any evidence to go against the defendant's because
I have
I see you looking
your
at me.
terms are not looking
this
too great.
this old stamp. This old stamp was found on a letter sent between the two parties of the Joker and of Expert, as well as correspondences from Tony Stark himself. Your Honor, this was all a ploy between the three of them to give Batman toy weapons that would not be functional during a battle, so that way Batman would lose. These correspondences talk about the fact that that they were going to plan a quote-unquote break-in, so that way Tony Stark would not be considered liable. This is
So,
it's just trying to make an escape.
We have reached the time for closing arguments. Prosecutor, you may go first. You may
I
make
would
your
like-
closing statements.
I would like everyone in this courtroom to take a moment.
Oh.
I would like everyone in this courtroom to take a moment and think. Tony Stark.
Bailiff?
Why is she stunned?
Tony Stark is accused of giving Batman toy weapons. And such a high-powered individual to be supplying weapons to anybody for that matter, shouldn't they take the precautions for any ploys to not happen? Like, shouldn't they have like some kind of precautions to stop anything like toy weapons getting sent out? Whether or not
Gosh, I just realized the gallery.
he intentionally sent toy weapons to Batman, he should at least be held accountable for negligence. Negligence to regulate his employees, to, first of all, doing background checks. Because why would you even hire the Joker and not expect the Joker to do something to get at Batman? It's just pure negligence, and honestly, the whole entire thing smells fishy, and I am sure the jury will be able to see through the lies that the defense is trying to present. I'm done, Your Honor.
Very well. Then it is time for the defendant to produce their closing statement.
The prosecution claims that the Joker was not given a thorough background check, but we are all very aware of the Joker's previous antics and criminal record. My defendant, Tony Stark, hired the Joker with the intent of furthering his rehabilitation and reintroduction into society, knowing fully well the risks and dangers hiring such a man would bring. That is why the Joker is kept on such a short leash and not allowed anywhere on the premise without proper supervision. And why... Don't shake your head at me. Get out of here, you. And why he could not have been the one to sabotage the delivery of Batman's weapons to him. And why Mr. Stark is not responsible for the delivery of toy weapons, because it was someone outside of Stark Industries who provided that delivery. That person being expert. Therefore, Tony Stark has no bearing on this horrible sabotage of Batman and his weaponry. The defense rests, Your Honor. Oh, one more thing. I can make a wicked paper airplane.
That is a very nice paper airplane, but
The defense rests.
time has come that I have reached a verdict. Judging from the arguments I have heard today from the prosecutor and the defendant.
Your Honor, we have a jury now. Can we also?
Ah, yes. Jury,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
I believe that. Why are we doing papers? I believe that Iron Man is guilty because. Just because, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Don, yes.
the jury clearly hasn't been paying attention. Please throw them out.
No.
I think the jury would be
No.
paying clear attention.
I have been paying
It-
very
It sounds very clear that they have been.
I have noticed the jury taking notes throughout this, which I greatly appreciate.
Thank you.
I
Your
bet they
Honor.
were drawing fan fiction.
Well,
That is not what I'm saying.
I will provide my thoughts and my final verdict. Throughout listening, we have had many discussions about the similarities between Iron Man and Batman, the fact that we have never seen them in the same room, but it is quite important to note that they are different people. Because while Tony Stark wears glasses, from what I have seen, for secret identity reasons, they are not the same person.
Your Honor, I'd
This
like to
does-
point out this is now a chicken court.
Bailiff,
Can't
Yes?
please
see.
revert them back.
Okay.
No, keep the prosecutor like that. Aw.
Rude.
Yes, excellent. You may continue, Your Honor.
Oh, Pwned unmuted in Discord just to say that. I respect it. Anyway, so final verdict. I will say I have taken into what the jury said into account. And I will say that it seems like most of the cause of this came from the expert, and not the cause of Tony Stark. Tony Stark seemed to have been fighting to give the proper shipment to Batman, but with the expert and the Joker joining hand in hand to sabotage based on what we've seen from the news and from their conversations, what could have been seen as a playful prank between a boss and his worker led to the dangers of the Batman. So I must say that while Tony Stark is CEO, he must suffer some accountability for what happened to the Batman. So I will have to find him guilty of selling the Batman toy weapons. However, I would be willing to give him a very light sentence. We will discuss later, but for now, he is deemed guilty.
Let's go.
Oh, devious.
Not guilty.
Your Honor, we stand here accusing this floof of stealing a numerous amount of pants. And I would like to present our first point of evidence, this hole that was found in a garden of a local resident.
Oh.
Just big enough for a floof to squeeze through.
Defend it. Your rebuttal?
Yes, well, I'm here defending the floof because my first statement, before I present any evidence, how could you accuse such an adorable creature of doing something wrong that is naturally harmless at the end of the day? I mean, this cute little fuzzball is just trying to live its best life, and yet now he stands in trial for stealing pens. Well, about that hole in the ground, it seems as though I will have to rebut this with a crow cawing above, chasing a badger through the hole into its den. You see, crows are a form of scavenger, so they're waiting to see what animals will die in order to eat them. The badger was trying to escape the crow and as such dug the hole in the ground into its den to escape. The floof could not have caused that hole, for the floof was in a bed laying with someone to make them feel better after a difficult day. I have proof of where the floof was, judging by this dusty landline phone. The phone had not been touched for a while. The man was so sad he needed to spend multiple days just at home taking care of himself. And floofs are very sympathetic, emotional creatures. They respond to sadness, such in the case of Dungeon. Whenever he feels sad, a floof comes right up to him and lays next to him. That is proof of the floof's great emotional connections.
Oh,
And as such, the man was
sorry, one
so
second.
sad.
We have some breaking news. A floof was found stuck in a garden hole. Oh, poor floofs.
Uh-oh.
They just
The
can't catch a
poor
break today.
floof got stuck in a poor hole. I wish it is okay. Unfortunately, it is not mine because it is right here, unfortunately being accused of stealing pants.
Yes, sadly, that was breaking news, which means it cannot be used for helping you out there as a. This is where they were.
Before my opening
Situation.
statement, my floof that is currently being arrested could not been the one to steal pens. It was assisting in someone who was very upset at the time and trying to make them feel better.
Oh. Breaking news. Floof claims court has a stand-in as the true Floof sets free.
Wait, what?
What?
Identity theft.
Defense, would you like to bring anything up about that? With our potential not criminal?
Well, the most important thing is that while we are judging the floof by my side, there are multiple floofs, each with their own mischievous identities. While one could go out be doing a crime, another could be stealing the pens. That's the important thing we have to discuss, is that if there is another floof out there causing mayhem out in the present world, then certainly it can't be the one by my side who was just doing what it wanted to protect and help someone who was in need.
But if the standee that is here right now is not the one that we were supposed to be accusing,
Oh, no.
would that not kind of debunk everything that you are saying?
Well, the important thing is that we could have just gotten the wrong floof in here. They all look the same, if I'm honest.
That seems very risky of you to say. I'm going to pass it to the prosecutors. Breaking news. Sorry. Corporate seen taking selfie at court case.
My client, put the camera away. You don't need that.
Wait, this image clearly shows two floofs. There was a second floof in the audience.
There is multiple floofs in this audience, it seems. Wait, if the culprit was caught taking the selfie, but the floof in the back was clearly at the bench, the culprit is in this room and not the one on trial.
Then my client is innocent. Or you have the wrong floof.
I provide the evidence of this incognito costume.
Oh.
This costume was found at the house of the accused. My question to you, Your Honor, is why would a floof need an incognito costume unless they were about to do something in which they needed to be incognito?
What were we talking about? I forgot. Sorry. What are pants?
That is true. I happen to notice none of us are wearing pants. Did the floof steal our pants too?
We're socks, Your Honor. Do we even have legs?
Yes. Good point. I keep forgetting.
Goes crazy.
You are right.
I think the important thing is that you still have the wrong floof in hand. So this one was stuck in an elevator, unable to go anywhere last night because the hotel that the man was staying in, and its elevator had broken down throughout the night.
Oh,
the floof could not leave the house to be captured.
The juror seems to be claiming that our journalist is actually a floof.
How am I a floof?
Wait,
Is our journalist the culprit all along, Judge?
I've been here the whole entire time.
The
If we
breaking
look at the
news
breaking
did
news-
have the breaking news did have the two selfies, and it is in the perfect position for Katsu's position.
And I think Chad thinks so as well, so.
No.
Katsu.
Okay, hear me out though. The floof was seen committing arson and stealing pants and being stuck in a hole.
Arson!
Meanwhile, I was here.
Whoa.
Did you not see it before? They were setting fires. That's the second one.
I think it's clear to see that my client is not guilty, and the
I don't know.
journalists themselves are guilty.
I just heard arson though.
Yeah. So Judge, hold tab, and then go to breaking news.
Yes, let's hold tab. Yes, breaking
second
news.
one.
Yes. Oh yes, Floof claims court has a stand-in as the true Floof sets fire. Ah yes.
But if that's the true floof right there in the journalist seat,
Do I look like that floof? I am not a floof.
But remember, Your
there
Honor,
was
you
a
could be in
disguise
disguise
in
with a
that
sock
as
over your
well.
floofiness.
Yes, disguise.
If
kit
you
was
if
in
you
everything.
if you look at the picture, there is way too much like floof to be able to be contained in this sock.
Also, the important thing to mention is that the floofs have an angle in their mouth and upward. Your floof that you have drawn, journalist, is a flat smile. The flat smile of a sock.
Uh-oh.
Your Honor, I move to have the floof on trial. pardoned as not guilty, and we put
know-
Katsu on the trial for the crimes.
After all the very, very damning evidence and the juror and everything pretty much happening here and the stuff that we have just now found out about our own journalists, I do move that this floof on trial, while maybe, you know, have
They're
committed
only
other
guilty
crimes.
of one thing, Your Honor, being adorable.
Yes, you are right. For this specific crime, they are not guilty, but Katsu is guilty. I just cannot hit both. But not guilty.
Not a floof.
Yeah.
Katsu, on the other hand,
I'm not a floof.
Katsu is floof, yes.
We've established this, yes.
I'm not a
Yes.
floof.
you just want to remind the court.
Mind the court that Katsu is a unreliable witness.
I'm not an unreliable witness.
It's so over.
I want to see how you do this.
Oh.
Hello,
Actions against the Ishtar family.
my name is
Oh my
Dungeon
God.
Ishtar, and we are standing in trial of Merrick
Ishtar
Ishtar,
for
for his
short.
actions against the Ishtar family. We have records of him having, and I will read out a few of them. Slicing into his father's back. Words of
Boo.
Millennium writing. As well as torturing many others in cruel shadow game.
Ka-chow.
I, as the prosecutor, am here to prove that his actions were done
Ka-chow.
without a shadow of a doubt in terms of cruelty and destruction, I say.
Friends, family, Romans, I welcome you today in this fine court. And my client would like to plead insanity. Thank you.
Defense is a Roman defending an Egyptian.
Ah, yes, the Romans coming to bail out the Egyptians.
Your Honor, if he pleads insanity, doesn't that automatically make him guilty?
Be silent.
That makes him guilty.
No, because
Prosecution,
there's
you're
a
first.
spirit inside of his rod.
Be silent. It's not your turn.
With my evidence, I wish to share this security camera that captured all of the acts of Merrick Ishtar on his father, where he took that rod made of gold and carved into his back the symbols of the gravekeepers, bleeding him out and killing him. He also killed one of my greatest friends, Joey Wheeler, by poisoning him to death with damage that affected him. Only cruel monsters would use such shadow games to get their work done.
The jury has voted Exodia. You've been obliterated.
Case closed.
You may resume.
Oh, you pulled my soul back from obliteration. Thank you. So, yes, judging by the information we saw on the security camera, we were able to notice Merrick Ishtar completely annihilating and destroying innocent people just to advance his goals. His victory over my Valentine and his unearned victory against Joey Wheeler by killing him with poisonous gas, just so that way he
Brooklyn
could
Ray.
squeak out another win.
Nay, nay, nay,
His
nay.
actions against the Ishtar family are justified and are only made more obvious by what he has done.
Wait, they're justified?
Yep, I think so too.
Well, not
Yep.
guilty.
Oh,
Alright, defense, your rebuttal.
Well, there's a lot of talk about a golden rod used to carve things, but after reviewing the camera footage, it's actually a golden key.
wait, isn't that the Millennium Key that belonged to Shada?
Yeah, so I think,
Wait,
we're
impossible.
blaming a different person here.
Now we're playing.
It wasn't my client. He's very innocent.
Prosecution, what have you?
You see, he was wearing an incognito costume to try to blend in and avoid the camera, so that way, when the actions weren't done, people would say that it was in fact Shada who killed his own father, but instead, it was just a fake. Merrick was the one who was wearing Shada's clothes and killed his father.
Conflict is justified.
No, they weren't justified.
I think,
Don't mind
yeah,
me, I
let's
was
go
just
with
making
got
notes.
justified.
Continue.
The defendant's client. Oh,
Breaking
Breaking
news.
news. Karibo's unamused.
Kuribo is unamused. One story we can't take to everyone.
Wait a minute.
Yes, thank you, juror. The rod was hidden in a false
Jury,
key
that-
sleeve.
Jury, that rod looks oddly phallic shaped.
Okay, listen here.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Well, even though that the camera footage seems to say otherwise, how can we validate the picture, the quality of it, if the only lighting was from a unique chandelier that doesn't even light
Antique.
up?
In defense, that says antique. What say you about this lighting situation?
Well, the lighting situation can relatively be handled to the fact that Merrick needed it to be done near the chandelier, so that way he could see
Chandelier?
him as he carved the gravekeeper soul symbol into his
Merrick
father's
owns
back.
a Pokemon.
I object. Pokemon usage.
Proceed.
Did we establish that Pokemon existed in ancient Egypt?
Very good point.
Wait, how did Pokemon get involved in this?
He says chandelier.
It was chandelier, Your Honor.
You said
Yeah, but
chandelier.
you said chandelier. You said the Pokemon name. I'm just doing my job up here. I don't know.
And I am saying that the chandelier was the light
money.
that Merrick Ishtar used to see his father's back as he carved the gravekeeper symbols into it.
Defendants.
Oh, I thought I just hit them.
Oh, there you go.
We in America.
Okay.
I'm being
my-
abused.
Ah, yes, we have a chicken on the stand.
So if you're curious, yes.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the record.
I am Dark Magician Girl, and I'm currently a male woman.
I see times are hard after Yu-Gi-Oh! Stopped airing.
Yeah, they are. They're really hard.
Ever since Rush Duel.
Shut the fuck up, Yum Yum.
Defense, please continue with your questioning.
Yeah, so where were you on the night of the allegations?
Probably in Yugi's deck.
Delivering mail.
At the time, I was a monster in a card game.
Ah, but it says here on your profile you're a male woman of sorts?
That is my occupation now, yes.
Objection!
Mom.
The person in front of us is not Dark Magician Girl, that's actually Ojama Yellow!
Oh God.
Overruled.
Damn, alright, I tried. Sorry, Jam.
Oh, Jama Yellow didn't exist yet, I think.
Oh right, Ojama Yellow was in GX.
Yeah.
Overruled because they don't exist yet. Notebook.
Yes, so why does this notebook say you were helping the spirit in my client here attack their family?
Sir, could you look at your client real quick?
He's just a happy little guy.
Yeah, and
Little man.
and like look at that. That is very like smut book coded, and as like a smut book girly, because you know Dark Magician Girl and everything. Yeah, why not? Also, he was being abused.
Aha! So it is the family's fault, not my client's. Defense rest.
Prosecution, your cross-examination.
Yes, so Dark Magician Girl.
Yes.
Allow me to ask, you said you are a monster in Yugi's deck. Is that correct?
At the time, yes. Now I'm a male woman.
Male woman.
I must ask, are you perhaps familiar with Yami?
I am.
So, would you say that base Yugi or Yami
It's Red Eyes Black
are
Dragon.
they the same person or are they different?
One's a pharaoh and one's a little boy.
So, considering how
What's the
it is
difference?
not Merrick Ishtar but Yami Merrick being accused of actions against the Ishtar family, would it not be important to leave as the defendant is saying Merrick Ishtar and Yami Merrick, the one that our defendant here is protecting, to be different?
I plead the fifth.
So then you say that the spirit who carved Gravekeeper symbols into Merrick Ishtar's father, the actions are still accurate against the Ishtar family, even if it is not
Oh, right in
exactly
the eye.
Merrick Ishtar, but in fact the spirit inhabiting Merrick's body, aka known as Yami Merrick.
This is your words, not mine.
But I am confirming my assumption.
On the technicality about the spirit and Merrick, yes, they are two separate beings.
Then I shall happily pronounce that the spirit of Yami Merrick himself, having done actions against Merrick Ishtar's father, as well as threatening and trying to kill Odeon Ishtar, and threatening Ishizu Ishtar, are all accurate as actions committed from the spirit of Yami Merrick done on the Ishtar family. I rest my case, Your Honor. Thank you so much, Dark Magician Girl. I have no further questions.
Very well.
Is that
Not
right?
innocent.
I see he's innocent.
Alright. I hereby declare Ishtar. Which one is which?
The left one is guilty.
The one on
Uh,
that
Left
looks
is guilty.
Like a prison box is guilty. The one
Okay,
with
just
the
making sure.
fist
I
is
think
free.
it's the other one. You should press the other one.
You missed the other one.
Find Merrick Ishtar guilty.
No.